Welcome, Carol. So, what are we going to talk about today?
I really wanted to talk about how to use progesterone therapies for PMS.
Well, that's an important topic. It's particularly important because so many people are so confused by this.
I'd say I was very, very lucky because I worked in a compounding pharmacy and we were trying to use Dr. Katerina Dalton's principles for treating PMS. And she used very generous doses of progesterone to do so, 400, 600 milligrams suppositories. We were compounding an oral progesterone in oil as a possible alternative. So this is what I learned about the menstrual cycle, is that from ovulation to first day of bleeding is the luteal phase. And here's where those PMS symptoms start cropping up. Interesting thing is some women start having issues immediately after ovulation. Other women have no issues until 1 week before bleeding. This corresponds to the very highest level of progesterone in your luteal phase. There is another conception that we've been taught, everybody's been taught this, that it is a drop of progesterone that brings on bleeding. And I can tell you from clinical experience, this is not the case because we worked with some very serious PMS situations. These women were like clockwork getting their cycles, and some of their worst symptoms were 1, 2, 3 days into bleeding, and we continued with the higher doses.
What we found is that people with irregular cycles have difficulty determining or understanding from their bodies when does the luteal phase begin, when does ovulation happen, and what there's a rule of thumb that you can use depending on if your cycle is long or short. It's 10 to 14 days before your period comes, and that's when you would really up the dose. Now, I give lower doses in the first part of the month, especially in women who are still ovulating, who might be still having their cycle and wanting to get pregnant. But there is still a need for a low dose progesterone in the beginning of the month, and then 10 to 14 days before the menses. I also like to give Vitex. And Vitex, it's not enough in most people, but it supports the progesterone phase of the cycle.
Well, to recap, and I want to focus in on younger women with PMS. Recapping, start progesterone after ovulation. Sky's the limit on the dosing. If you have no symptoms the first week, forget about it. During the second week, start with 100 milligrams 4 times a day. Increase if needed to zero out all your symptoms. And you may stop when bleeding starts, or if you continue to have symptoms 1, 2, 3 days into bleeding, continue then. So,
That was 5 minutes.
oh God.
Actually 4 3/4. So, well, we were a little, when I
What?
finished, it was the end. So,
Wait,
so,
wait, wait, wait. I gotta turn the recording off.
okay, you can discard that one and